Episode 197. Not long after Han Li left, two more figures appeared on the small hill, dressed identically to the four he had taken away, except their robes were a deep blood red that made the eyes flinch away. The two of them glanced around, then stopped before the massive crater Han Li had blasted into the earth. They stood in silence for a long moment, until one of them finally let out a sigh.
Looks like the five friends of Ming Mountain failed.
The voice carried a certain age to it, weathered and old.
Useless trash. Not only did they fail, they probably got themselves captured alive. There's not a single trace of blood here. Looks like whoever it was subdued all four of them without breaking a sweat.
The other man wore a look of contempt on his face. He appeared quite young, perhaps only around 20 years old.
This is troublesome. The five friends of Ming Mountain are no mere good-for-nothings. If they were, I would have blood sacrificed them long ago. Why keep them alive? I figure they either ran into too many chi condensation cultivators and were outnumbered, or a Foundation establishment cultivator got involved.
What? Afraid those few might spill our secrets? They're all just outer disciples the sect recently recruited. They haven't been exposed to any of our secrets. And before I gave them their orders, I planted a failsafe. They've got maybe half a day left to live.
That's good. Half a day should be enough. They won't leak a thing. Not with that blood curse restriction hanging over them. By the time they realize something's wrong, they won't be able to speak a word anyway. But what the hell happened? Wasn't it all agreed upon? Let old Taoist Wu be your puppet master. Let you slowly show your face in the cultivation world. Only then can our sect carry out the cicada sheds its shell plan. The core disciples all have public identities in the cultivation world. But how did you end up barging into that old Taoist's room and draining his lifeblood?
You shouldn't have needed that little bit of magic power to advance.
You think I wanted this? I had no choice.
What? Could it be?
That's right. I was suffering from magic power backlash at the time, and I urgently needed a cultivator's blood essence to suppress the true essence inside me. Besides you, the only other cultivator nearby was that old man Wu. It's not like I could come after you now, could I? The situation was truly perilous. The backlash came 2 days earlier than usual. I almost couldn't hold it back.
Oh, is that so? Well, I suppose you can't be blamed for it then. But you still need to explain this matter properly to the higher-ups. But if I had to guess, you've been pushing yourself too hard with the black fiendish art lately. That's what triggered the backlash early. For now, stay out of the blood prison and focus on solidifying your foundation.
Rest assured, after absorbing that old Taoist's vital essence, my backlash has completely faded. As long as I stay cautious from now on, there won't be any more accidents like this. Lately, I've felt my cultivation progressing too fast. I was just thinking of stopping going there.
Good, as long as you understand. Still, even though we've eliminated that old Taoist, the one he marked with spiritual chi inside his body is a much bigger problem. We can't just ignore him. We need to find a way to leave no loose ends.
Well, that's true enough. But I thought old Taoist Wu's friends would be low-level rogue cultivators too. So after setting the trap, I only called the five of Mount Meng to spring it. Who knew we'd hook a big fish instead? Do you think it was a group of low-level cultivators, or did some Foundation establishment cultivator make the move?
Based on my guess, it was most likely a Foundation establishment cultivator. After all, no matter how many chi condensation cultivators there are, if the four of them truly wanted to flee, capturing them all at once wouldn't be an easy task.
In that case, should we lie low for now? Wait until the sect leader finishes his secluded meditation before continuing with the other plans. After all, Foundation establishment cultivators aren't to be trifled with.
Fall back. Why would we fall back? You haven't heard, have you? The sect leader just sent word he needs some Foundation establishment cultivators for a blood sacrifice cultivation requirements. Since this one walked right into our hands, we'd be fools to let him go. After all, chi condensation cultivators are easy to find anywhere, but a Foundation establishment cultivator on their own is a rare sight indeed.
But right now, with the Joju in the capital, the only Foundation establishment experts here are his 4 blood warriors. The rest are scattered across the provinces managing branch affairs. We can't exactly call them back just for this.
No need for such trouble. The sect leader urgently needs Foundation establishment cultivators for his cultivation. I need only report this matter upward, and His Excellency should place 1 or 2 blood warriors under our command. And with us backing him up, taking down a Foundation establishment cultivator would be as easy as reaching into a bag and pulling it out. This way, the 2 of us will have rendered a great service. Maybe we'll even get a chance at Foundation establishment, just like the 4 blood warriors.
The young man's spirits lifted at these words, as if the old man's offer had completely won him over.
Fine, I'll make the preparations. I'll capture him alive.
Then the 2 of them muttered among themselves for a good while longer before silently slipping away from the autumn grove, vanishing to parts unknown. But what was strange was that neither of them ever mentioned how they planned to find Han Li in a city this vast, as if that wasn't even a concern. Meanwhile, on a desolate patch of land over 100 li from Autumn Forest, Han Li brought the divine wind boat down and let the 4 of them step off the magic tool. These 4 knew nothing good awaited them, yet they couldn't muster the will to resist. They had no choice but to obediently follow orders and step out of the boat. Han Li stood before the silent group, hands clasped behind his back. He studied them for a long moment before finally speaking.
Take off your masks. There's no point hiding your faces now.
Han Li's voice carried no trace of emotion whatsoever, causing the 4 of them to startle and exchange glances.
Kneel.
The other 3, seeing this, could only hang their heads in defeat as they each pulled down their black veils, revealing their true faces. Han Li studied each face in turn, his expression unchanged, but inwardly he sighed.
Ah, the 5 Mengshan brothers indeed. I was eavesdropping on their conversation from above just now, and their voices already sounded familiar. Add in their cultivation levels and techniques. It couldn't be anyone else but the 5 friends of Meng Mountain I met 2 months ago. It looks like everyone's here except that woman in her 40s.
Still, even though their identities matched his guess, Han Li found this a massive headache.
So it seems the young prince and Steward Wang of the new prince's mansion are the masterminds behind the string of missing cultivators. Now that they know I've uncovered their secret, they'll surely fight me to the death. My original intention was to avoid this trouble at all costs, but it seems this big trouble has found me anyway. If I'd known it would come to this, I never would have let that old Taoist eavesdrop on those 2. This has nothing to do with the demonic path at all. I was just being overly cautious. But come to think of it, I never expected that old Taoist Wu would be so useless, caught after just 1 night of surveillance and losing his life in the process.
Han Li, thinking this over, only felt more frustrated and at a loss for words. If Old Man Wu had a spirit left to hear Han Li's complaints, he'd probably feel even more wronged. He hadn't even started his surveillance yet, and someone had already barged into his room, draining his essence blood for no reason at all. A truly unjust death. Han Li had gotten the old Taoist's death all wrong, but he also had no idea that the young prince and Steward Wang were completely unaware that the old Taoist was about to start watching them, and they certainly had no clue that their identities had already been exposed to Han Li.
But that didn't stop both sides from sounding the alarm in their hearts, locking them into outright hostility.
The cultivators who vanished recently included several who had already reached Foundation establishment. The enemies I've provoked are truly terrifying. One misstep, and I'd share the fate of those other missing cultivators. Normally, with a place this dangerous, I'd have put as much distance between myself and it as possible. A wise man doesn't stand under a crumbling wall, after all. There's really no need for me to fight these people to the death. But the problem is, I still have the task of protecting the Qin family on my shoulders. If something happened to the Qin family while I was away, I wouldn't be able to explain it to Li Huaiyun at all. I can hardly say I suddenly felt the capital had become extremely dangerous, so I just slipped away first, can I?
Han Li's expression flickered with uncertainty as these thoughts crossed his mind, which made the 4 talismans before him deeply uneasy. They had assumed that now they were alone, he would surely interrogate them, but to their surprise, this young Foundation establishment cultivator simply studied their faces, then fell into a contemplative silence, his expression slowly growing strange. Could he be thinking of some cruel interrogation method? With that wild speculation running through their minds, the group felt an even colder chill creeping up their spines, their unease growing by the second.
How exactly do you intend to deal with us?
Han Li snapped out of his reverie and glanced at the woman.
Do I even need to deal with you myself? All I have to do is hand you over to the families of those missing cultivators and tell them you were one of the masterminds behind their loved ones' disappearances. I'm sure they'll give you a proper welcome.
Han Li's expressionless words sent a wave of terror washing over the 4 of them, their faces turning pale.
We never kidnapped any cultivators. Not once. We just did it a few...
Silence, fifth sister. He's fishing for information.
The black-faced old man cut the woman off mid-sentence, startling her. She shot Han Li a fierce glare.
Trying to pry information out of me. You overestimate yourselves.
You may be a senior, but there's no need to humiliate us like this. Whatever tricks you have, just bring them on. The tall, lean second brother of the 5 mountain friends suddenly spoke up to Han Li, showing no regard for the fact that his life hung in the balance. This stunned the other 3, for in their minds, the second brother had always been one to plan before acting, hardly the impulsive type.